Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on our first Mentor Monday. My name is Kyra Reed. I am the CEO of Kadin Academy, online education for cannabis entrepreneurs. And today we have our marketing mentor, Jamie Cooper. Hello, Jamie.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic this great Monday.
Oh, so we are closing in on the release of Kadin Academy. So we wanted to introduce you to your mentors and start this series that's going to give you as an entrepreneur the ability to get that some extra support, some resources. And we're going to be talking with our mentors, but we're also going to be talking with business professionals from all facets of business. So stay tuned. Every Monday at noon, we will be taking your questions with our mentors every day around lunchtime, or every Monday around lunchtime. So again, this is our first broadcast, so bear with us as we get all of the kinks worked out on this. So, all right, well, let's get to it. Jamie, tell me a little bit about your business. I know you have two different businesses right now and what you do, and then let's get into some conversation about entrepreneurship and marketing.
Okay. Well, my business is Canna MediaWorks. I started Canna MediaWorks about 2.5 years ago. I lived in Colorado for the big legalization boom. And in fact, I was working in the ski industry doing online marketing for a very booming industry and living in a very booming state with legalization happening in 2014. And it was such a great thing economically that I realized that I had kind of tapped out in my marketing career in the ski industry, and it was time for something new. And seeing the cannabis industry blossom the way it did in 2014 in Colorado, I felt like I had to be a part of it. So my husband and I decided, I was from Texas, he was from Michigan, and we were like, okay, Texas or Michigan. Texas doesn't really have any medical marijuana laws. They're not like Colorado or Michigan. And Michigan was working toward that. They have a medical program. And so we came to Michigan and I started Canna MediaWorks. So
right on. And so you help businesses with two things, not just with marketing, but you also help them with their licensing. You participate in getting rules and regulations changed with city council and teaching people how to do that as well. Tell me a little bit about how you got into that part of the business.
Well, how I got into it was as I was building Canna MediaWorks, I realized that not a whole lot of the businesses in the industry were really spending all that much money on marketing. I think it's because they built it and people just came. I mean, that's just kind of how it works right now. But that will change down the line because it's starting to get saturated. More of these businesses are popping up across the country, and these companies will be forced to market. But so I wasn't getting a whole lot of business because not many companies were spending money on marketing. And so, but in Michigan, what was happening is we were in the process, there were some laws being discussed that were going to regulate the medical marijuana program that we've had since 2008. And so we were preparing for that. Well, there was the serious lack of information in Michigan on how to build one of these businesses. And so I started creating content, marketing content to educate people about licensing and what it takes to build a business. And because I knew that if I helped them in that matter, that eventually that they would think about me when it came to marketing their business. And so so that's what I'm doing now, not only teaching about marketing, but teaching people how to build these businesses, because it's not easy. Building a business isn't easy anyhow, but building a business in a highly regulated industry like cannabis is very challenging. And it's so new right now that people don't have the resources that you generally would have in another industry.
So I want to back up to something that you said, is you were working with companies who were not willing to invest in marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a major mistake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you've seen happen as a result of companies not investing in their marketing?
Well, they lose to the companies that have the money that are spending that money on marketing, and it's hard. Like, that's what you are up against, and you're competing against. You're competing against the big business that is coming into the industry, and they do have those budgets. And so it's just really important that when you start a business in the cannabis industry, that you make marketing a huge priority, because then you create that conversation and that engagement with your customer. You build that trust, and they always remember you.
So can you give us some advice on some things that people can do who may not have much of a budget or who are just starting out? What can they do within their means to start marketing their business?
Well, the great thing is there's so many different softwares and tools out there that allow you to build things yourself. But then there comes a lot comes with that. There's a lot of frustration that sometimes comes with it, because unless you have that creative bone in your body, it can be very challenging. Things don't look right, and it's not what you want. And then you end up having to change it 6 months later because you hate it so much. So there are the tools of you can always try to do it yourself. But like I said, it's just really important to put that in your budget when you're building a business. Put that money in there to have someone else do it. That way you can focus on some of those really important things, some of those things you actually like doing. That's one thing that I have really grown to understand over the last 3 years of building my own business is always be willing to hand off the projects that you just don't want to do. And that just needs to be a priority.
I think that's really important for entrepreneurs to understand, especially women, because we tend to want to take on everything and feel like we have to be the one to do it in order for it to get done right.
Yeah.
But what ends up happening is it puts us in the role of being a technician and not an entrepreneur. So we're really fortunate today because we've got things like Upwork and Fiverr, and you can hire people I think we just hired somebody to help build up our social media campaign for $17, and he did several hours of work. Wow. So, and this is good money for these people. So I think, we help spread our money around in our economy and give people work in a way that we can afford, and it elevates us out of that technician role where we're stuck in that hamster wheel, constantly doing things on our own. Yeah. I will say, though, that I've been working on our website for Kadin Academy, and it's probably the 5th or 6th website that I've developed. And I am not a web developer. In fact, I've forgotten quite a bit of code from years ago when I was working in WordPress. And it's taken me, 30, 40 hours on top of paying somebody. But I was able to get in there and actually work with it and take the time to do that because I did have to do that. I needed that to look really good. And I wasn't willing to spend a lot of money on it. Mm-hmm. So there is a balance that we can strike, but we need to get that initial help. And it is available there for us. And then, if you're the kind of entrepreneur that you really you have no money, you're absolutely bootstrapping it, and you have to do these things, there's WEiC. You can make a site for free. There's social media, of course. There's a lot that you can do. And my motto and my company has always been better done than none.
Yes.
Better done than none. And of course, you want to elevate your brand, and you do. Jamie's right. You're going to have a lot of competition. People are going to be coming into this industry with money. And if you do not have yourself buttoned up and professional and your messaging down and your product packaging down, you're going to be under some serious threat of being overtaken. But if you can do those important things to really get yourself out there and get your message straight, even if it is just the best that you can do, have a website, have your packaging designed and cohesive, congruent across all of your products. So it's so nice to actually be able to talk to another entrepreneur about what's going on, because I experienced the frustration myself so much. So I want to hear from you out there watching us live right now. Do you have any questions? Is there anything that you want to know from me and Jamie? Can we give you any advice, or do you just want to share your story with us? Go ahead and put it in the comments.
Yeah, we can see your comments. We can answer your questions, and we have quite a few viewers watching us right now. And like Kyra, like you were saying, I mean, working with businesses at a startup level, I see a lot of their revenue projections. I see a lot of their startup costs. And a lot of times I have not seen a marketing budget whatsoever. And
plant.
I know. And for someone like me, it drives me nuts. It makes me furious. And especially with the industry that we are in, people are hungry for information. The consumers, the people want to learn how to use cannabis in their everyday lives, are freaking hungry for information. They want to know how they can use it, in what ways they can use it, like what products can they use. They just want any information and guidance as possible. And if you're a company and you're not offering that guidance, then they're going to go to the company that is. They really, really are, because I mean, like that's what they're looking for. And if you give them that information, it builds trust, and then they want to buy from you.
Absolutely. And, you know, that's such a good point. It's one of the things that when I work with my clients, I tell them over and over again, because I get this question. So what do I talk about on social media? I mean, I can't show people smoking. I can't talk about actually using it. So what do I do? Well, educate. And education creates the most value. And the really fascinating thing about cannabis that I've never really experienced in an industry before is that we have a huge market of people that we have absolutely no information about, but they're waiting to get into the cannabis industry. They have not been a part of this industry ever. And now they're standing outside the gates going, well, how do I get in? How do I get over the fence? What's my entry point? What is microdosing? Is it harmful if I do overdose? Those very basic things that a lot of us in the industry take for granted because we already know, but you really have to put yourself in the shoes of those individuals who are standing on the other side of that fence going, I want in, but I don't know how to do it. And let me tell you, if any of you have come out on Facebook that you are part of the cannabis industry, you've probably been besieged by individuals going, where do I get it? How do I get it? My son wants to work in that industry. Is it safe? And so you get a sense that this is happening with all of us in the industry. And those people are out there. They want to know so bad. And once it goes rec legal in a state, I'm telling you, it's like the floodgates open. So educate, 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 and educate about the most basic, simple things. That is important to people. And there are a lot of people who don't understand it and will create so much value for your company. Because I've worked with enough major corporations to know they don't get that. And that is something that is a little more authentic and kind of homegrown when you can educate people on that level that will really endure them to your business.
Yeah, so. It's so funny that you talk about that. Is just like people are just kind of clueless at understanding that it's the education that builds the trust. It's any information, and like you said, you have to make yourself a resource for everything cannabis related. Like once you come out there, you're going to get bombarded with all those questions of how to use it and how can people get their card and embrace that because what they do is they go out and tell people, they tell your potential customers about you.
Yeah, they do.
So
I saw we have 3 questions.
Yes, we do. So we have Linda, one of our mentors, asked, how does a marketing budget for a cannabis company differ from a similar business that isn't about cannabis? Well, so traditionally in blanket statement, traditionally in all industries, a company should be budgeting about 10 to 15% of their revenue toward marketing. That's how much money generally that they should spend toward marketing. And so if you're making $1 million annually, in revenue, that tells you that you need to be spending $100,000 on marketing at least. And you got to spend money to make money. It's just kind of, as a marketing person myself and starting my company, I'm like, oh, I know everything marketing. I can do this. I don't need money. Yeah, you do. I mean,
even us marketers need the money there.
Even marketing, I built everything myself, and I still needed money to get going and seed money friends and family. Use that as your stepping stone. Like, get that seed money. But yes, marketing, and so if you're building a business, like if you get some seed money to do your marketing, that's going to get you a really long way. I mean, seriously, because that's going to get some leads through the door, start building up, and then, you can grow your business.
And so when it comes to that budget, that initial budget, you need your website, you need your packaging, you need some content, and you need photos. And I would say that those are probably, and good copy. Hire a writer. Or if you've got a friend who's a writer, yes. One of the biggest violations that I see in every industry that I've worked in is people produce websites with copy that don't mean anything. How many times have you read a website and you go, I still don't understand what these people do. What do they want me to do? What are they offering me? So it's always good to have a good writer. And I have to thank Linda while she's here for helping me get the copy together for our website. So get yourself a good writer. If you've got a friend who's a photographer, if you've got a friend who's a graphic designer, pull on all these people and have them help you put all of these things together, because you need all of those elements when you get started. And then just to kind of wrap that up, I just want to say too, Linda, it isn't a difference. You've got to manage your business in the same way you do as a traditional business. So there is no difference between how much a regular business needs to spend on legal or finances or PR. It's all the same guidelines. What is different within marketing when it comes to cannabis is your actual content. And that's what Jamie and I were talking about earlier, is that content aimed at that new market that's coming out.
And if you end up creating your own logo, do not use other people's stuff. I mean, there was one guy that I know that sent me, he's like, check out my logo. And I'm like, oh, that looks really good. Where did you get the image for it? And he was like, oh, I found it on the internet. No.
Unless you're using a free site that allows you to download licensable photos like Unsplash. Unsplash is one of my favorites. UNSPLASH.com. You can find a lot of great images there. Not a lot of cannabis images, but a lot of other things. They're really fresh. They update it regularly. But yeah, don't violate copyright laws.
Stockpot images for cannabis-related images. Actually,
yes, and we have one of the women in our group who's the badass CEO of that company. So yeah, let's support the women in our group here.
Yes.
Let's take another question, Jamie.
Okay. So we have Beth, who says, thank you for doing this. I understand that marketing is important to have in the budget, but what are some tools that I can use myself until I'm at the point that I can afford marketing help? Well, we did kind of answer this, but we could never talk about this too much, actually, because this is going to be important to know. For design elements, really look at Fiverr. Fiverr, it's Fiverr. They offer a lot of different services, and it's really inexpensive. One thing I will tell you, sometimes you get what you pay for. If you decide to go with a $5 logo, expect to work with 20 different artists, maybe.
Yes.
You want. Or you could pay $100 to get someone, that you have to pay a little bit more to design something a little bit better and put a little bit more time in it. So that's something that you need to keep in mind for website building tools. Weebly, Squarespace,
WEiC.
Yeah, WEiC. There's quite a few different ones, and it's so easy. It's drag and drop. Like you upload images, you type in and you just drag and drop, and you can make your own website. Not everyone wants to do that. And in fact, some of you might go and try to do this, and then 2 weeks from now, you're going to be pissed at me, and I'm sorry. It's just not for everyone. I could sit there for hours and do it because I love it, but it's not for everyone. And don't spend too much time getting frustrated and wasting your time. And really remember to use your time doing those things that you love to do and those things that you're really good at.
That's really good advice. Let's put in the comments there. You've got Fiverr, we've got Unsplash.com, Squarespace, WEiC, Upwork. There are so many tools. And, a really important thing when you are budgeting, it isn't just to budget money. You also need to budget your time. And you need to budget your frustration.
Yeah.
So that you walk into it understanding, look, this is going to take me some time and I'm going to go through some things while this code isn't working and I can't get this picture to line up right and I can't get these words to make sense. That's part of the process. So you just need to kind of allocate that energy and that time to go through that and not give up on yourself, because we all go through it. This is not something unique to each of us as individuals. Sitting behind the computer alone in your office wanting to pull your hair out. We've all been there. Best thing to do is get up and get off your computer for a few minutes and come back. And again, if you can't figure this out, get on Upwork. We just hired someone for $17 to do 3 hours worth of work, and he did a great job. So there is help out there for you now if you don't know about it. And also, you know, there's a lot of great tools in the 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss that he wrote years and years ago. But there is still a lot of really great tools and resources for entrepreneurs to cut out being the technician and help to elevate them up to that spot of entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm. And I really like what you suggested earlier too, is copywriter. I think finding a good copywriter is really, really important.
Yes. Do we have any more? I saw a couple more questions. Someone said something about getting some negative feedback.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, yes. I run into a whole lot of negative people in Northwestern Michigan. Would seeking interns from local colleges be beneficial?
Oh, that's a good question. I had someone ask me that the other day, and I just wasn't sure what to say.
Yeah. Yes, I'd say like it's worth a try. It's really worth a try, especially someone to help with marketing of your business. I mean, like, because you find someone who has the skill of managing social media and in content writing and ideas, things like that. Like, it really could serve well for your company. I
would say make sure that the person's over 21.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. You may not be touching the plant. You may not need them with the plant, but
just to be,
an alcohol company wouldn't hire somebody under 21 to manage their sites.
Yeah.
When you can't even be accessing it as someone under 21. So, and of course, make sure that they're very aware of the fact that you're going to be talking about cannabis and that they're comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. But I would be interested to see, let us know if you end up doing that and you do go to the local college, what kind of response you get.
Yeah.
Because, ladies, we really are experiencing all of this for the first time, which is why we say we're in this together and why we're doing Mentor Mondays. It's as much for me and Jamie and all of our other mentors to learn, because we're all in this entrepreneurship right now together. We're in the same boat, figuring out what to do, how to paddle, which direction to go. So, we're here to help each other. And if you have any advice for any of our listeners or members of our group, please leave it in the comments or leave it on our page, because we all need to share information with each other. We have information about certain things, but not everything. So,
and make sure you join our Facebook group,
yes.
Women Entrepreneurs in Cannabis. Women Entrepreneurs in Cannabis. In fact, I will put it on the screen really quick.
Any more questions for me and Jamie or Jamie today around marketing or entrepreneurship? Does anybody want to share a story with us about their entrepreneurship wins, things that they've learned? Oh, there's a woman who joined our group she does research data. And I actually I need to look her name up really quick, because this is something, when I saw what she was doing, it was really exciting to me. Because we have so little data that we actually have access to. I mean, any other industry that you're in and you want to do market research, you just go to Forrester or go to a research or focus company like that, and you can put in what industry you're in and what demographics you want information on. That pretty much doesn't exist at all in the marketing and cannabis. So I was really excited to see her company.
And was it New Frontier Data by chance?
No, it's called EASE.
Okay.
EAZE.
Okay. I would highly suggest checking out New Frontier Data.
They're expensive though, aren't they?
Yeah. They are, but they have some amazing data. I every year I buy the Marijuana Business Daily fact book. That's really helpful for me. I mean, but
ooh, that's a good resource.
one of the things that I do is I mean, this is marketing as well, but I do marketing presentations to city councils and boards, elected officials that decide whether or not they're going to allow these establishments in their communities. And what that takes, it's a lot of statistical information and visuals of what the regulated industry looks like. And both Marijuana Business Daily and New Frontier Data, I just get so much information from both of them because it really gives you a picture of what is happening within our industry. And as you're building your company, that's going to be very, very important to know, especially if you're handling the product, because it's a startup business, so it's new to your state. And the people that decide who gets licenses are fairly uneducated sometimes. So it takes a lot of effort on your end and knowledge on your end that you present to them to get them on board. So
that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at data around our customers, what are the important things to look for? What are the things that make the difference? Is it how old somebody is? Is it how much money they make? What's really going to be the most useful to cannabis entrepreneurs when it comes to reading that data?
You got to know your audience. You got to know who you are selling to. You got to know them really well. And it takes a lot of research and conversations with people that you're wanting to buy your product or your service. And I mean, interviewing them and developing a persona of them, so you know how to market to them, and you know what it takes and what information they're looking for, and how you can get in front of their faces. Asking them questions like, how would you find me or my product or my service? What would you do? And you need to know where they go to look for you.
So what I suggest is that you, as a business owner, if you have a dispensary, train your people to ask informal survey questions at the counter and keep track. Get to know them that way. Train your people to always be asking questions of people that walk in. If you are business to business, get on the phone and talk to your customers. Say, hey, can I get some, would you be willing to answer a few questions for me? Where we are in this industry, you need to do your own research as well. And if you can't afford to purchase the information from someone like MJ Biz or from New Frontiers, you can do it yourself. You just need to pick up the phone. You need to send a link. SurveyMonkey is awesome for surveys. And keep that data, because as you grow, that data is going to be very useful to you and potentially to other companies. Mm-hmm. One of the great stories out of technology, one of my favorites about this over the years, was OkCupid. Do you remember OkCupid from days when you were dating long ago? They were bought by Match.com in one of the first big acquisitions of a dating site. And what they did that set them apart from everybody else is they were free, and they had 150,000 questions that you would answer on your profile, and then you could opt into all of these other questions. And what they were doing was collecting all this data. And then about 8 months into the business, they actually released the data as information. So you could see that white women in this age range were most likely to click on a profile of this individual in this age range with these kinds of answers. And it was just page after page of data. And it was so fascinating that just the release of that data catapulted them to the cover of every magazine in tech at that time. They got acquired by Match.com, and it completely changed the whole dating landscape now, because we had this data we'd never had before. So this company that was a free online profile, what they were actually doing was angling for data that they could turn into useful information. So in the same way, think about yourself as a cannabis business. Remember, you are on the front lines right now. Most people don't know what to think what we don't know those customers very well yet, because so many of them have never been in the cannabis industry. They're not users right now. So learn about them as they walk through the door of your business one-on-one. And again, train your people to ask questions and keep track of answers. It will be invaluable for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's important too is the marketing activities that you do, that you collect data from that. Like if you're doing email campaigns or social media, I'm really successful at using social media for advertising. I use paid advertising on Facebook all the time. And a lot of people don't think that you can do that in this industry. And you can. It takes a lot of time and a lot of battles with Facebook.
Okay, just 1 second before you go on. I want to tell everybody, if you are struggling with Facebook ads, you need to get in touch with Jamie. She has spent a lot of time dealing with Facebook and understanding what will work and what will not. And she has been very successful with her ads. We're trying to get her to do a special launch next year when we relaunch Kadin Academy for our winter program, to do an introduction to Facebook ads, but it's something that can be done. And please reach out to Jamie if you need help with that. She does provide that as a service. So, all right, go ahead, Jamie.
And I've had Facebook pages shut down. I'd say like 60% of my ads get denied. And I fight, I appeal. And a lot of times they say, okay, one appeal and that's it, and we're going to shut it off. But I keep fighting, and my persistence and the fact that I keep fighting has worked out really well. But where I was going on with this is the fact that, like, you use that data from Facebook advertising or email campaigns or website clicks. You use it and you use that to improve your services and what you're doing. I'm just an analytical person. I like to look at the numbers and see, like, if a picture doesn't work, what really drives people to click. It's so important to analyze that information and improve. You know, what can be measured can be improved. So. Very
true. I saw one more question pop up. Maybe we can get that before we log off for lunch.
So we have Beth that says, what are your suggestions for growing social media? I have been having trouble trying to sponsor posts, but they always get denied. Fight them. Okay, so you don't need to be trying to sell product. You need to use Facebook as a tool for branding. If you're a product person, that you're building a product company, it's important that you use social media to really, like, brand that product in your name, opposed to trying to actually sell it, because that's what's going to get you shut down. And then when you get denied, the way you fight it is you become an attorney pretty much. And you argue with them and you have a good argument telling them that what you are doing is not illegal. You are not promoting a federally illegal substance. You are promoting this, a service that services that industry. And in all reality, they can't say no. Activism campaigns, they're supposed to approve as well. They say in their language, Facebook in their language says that you can use Facebook as a tool for activism, but a lot of times people that try to do that, they get denied. And in fact, I had an activism campaign that I was working on a couple of weeks ago, and it took 6 days for me to get an approval from them. And so when you do try to do the social media advertising, have time leading up to that. Because it could take a few days for you to get your approval, and make sure that you're not depending on it. So,
I mean, the truth is, Beth, we do have an uphill fight.
Yeah.
We have to be in marketing. We have to be in social media. We just have to. And there's a lot of pressure. I've been in this industry since 2005, and I have watched it go from zero to what it is today. And it's been through a lot of, incarnations. And when we started with Facebook, there was this idea that you've got to get out there and you've got to build your page and you've got to have tons of likes and lots of comments and lots of people following the page. But here's the reality today. Today, people go to your page one time when they check it out, they like it or they don't, and then they never go back. Okay. If you're lucky enough to show up in their feed, you will get that traction in their feed if they like you. But here's something we've noticed. Most people are not leaving likes and comments anymore. Okay, if you put up a really good article, they'll click on that article, but they won't leave a comment. So you might be getting traction, you just won't know it unless you've got your Google Analytics set up. So what we've been advising our clients on for about 2 years now is reimagine that Facebook page. Okay, that Facebook page is what people go to when they want to know who you are. They want to get a quick idea. They want your information, your about, your phone number. They want to see a little bit of your branding. They want some more clarity on what your business is. Focus your energy on making your page look great. Look at it like it's your portfolio page. Don't get all caught up on whether you've got enough people liking you or not. This is a first impression moment with Facebook, and that is how you've got to look at it, especially as a cannabis business. Mm-hmm. If people land on your page and they scroll quickly, what are they going to walk away with? That is what you need to focus on there. And keeping your information really fresh and educate. So when you are driving people to that page from those ads, if you put all that work in and money into getting those ads approved and running, and then they go to a page that is what's the point of spending that money? Mm-hmm. So make sure that you focus on that first and foremost, because I see a lot of my clients that tend to kind of put the cart before the horse and want to cross the finish line before they really figure out, A, what's my strategy? B, how do I look? Is everything connected? Because those are really the places where you will lose people the most. If your look isn't right, if you're inconsistent, if everything isn't hooked up together. So you would be amazed at how much difference that will make if you just go through all of your profiles and really take that approach with it.
Great advice.
All right.
Another question. What are some strategies for marketing to the medical cannabis market, which are people who aren't in the lifestyle? Well, I find myself more in tune with marketing to those that are using it for medical, because those are the people needing information. I mean, those are the people that just specifically they're not just wanting to get high. They want to take care of their pain. And so it in my opinion, it's content. You have to be producing content. As a cannabis business, you can't say that cannabis cures something. What you can do is you can market through testimonials, and that's what I encourage you do. You have video testimonials, written testimonials, and you can take one testimonial and you can make 5 different content pieces out of it. No joke. You could do a blog, you could do a video, there's so many different things that you could do with that one piece. And so I highly encourage that you use those stories to market and learn how to categorize them on your website. That way when people go, they can look up epilepsy and see all these testimonials about epilepsy, or they can go to cancer and see testimonials about cancer.
Those are all such great tips, because we are talking, when it comes to medical, about a very different audience.
Yeah.
And you can often be really hard to reach. And so you've got the people who are already using it and the people who could be using it, who just need that education in order to come over. And I think another really important thing is to take articles that, let's say UCLA has just made another discovery about cannabis. You can post that in your blog, talk a little bit about it, and then take out an ad running to that.
Yeah.
And that is, so you can now be reaching more people with an ad about a new study at UCLA linking to that study. So it's not you making the claim. You're just passing on the information about the claim that has already been legitimately made by a medical institution. So there are ways around that. And the more that you can do those kinds of things, the better you will be able to pull those people in and market to that very specific market.
Yeah. And I think it's also important that if you are providing a product for medicinal purposes, then you need to have a chief medical officer on your advisory board. It's really important to have a medical professional that really knows about the endocannabinoid system and how it works. And that way, that's going to help you better your products too. is by attaching that, but it's going to help you get a license too. I mean, these people that hand out the licenses want to make sure that you are taking that medical approach. So
absolutely. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Are there any other questions? Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate the love.
Thank you guys so much. Please, we ask that you share this video. After we're done broadcasting, it will upload and it will be shareable, but please share this video with your friends. Help us get people within our group, women entrepreneurs in cannabis. Just go into the search feature on Facebook and find the group, and we'll add you in. But we're making it a huge resource for those that are starting businesses in the cannabis industry.
Absolutely. Bring your questions. It's going to be our version of an AMA. Ask our mentors anything. Mondays, Mentor Monday.
And then
you're so welcome, Bonnie.
Next Monday, we have Linda, who has been
yes.
Linda she's our activist. So she will be talking about activism and using it within your business, which is huge.
Yeah. And you think Jamie and I are smart?
Yeah.
Linda you do not want to miss this. This woman has a wealth of knowledge and information about what you need to do to be a very powerful advocate on a legal, local and federal, state legal perspective. How do you locate your representatives? How do you talk to them? How do you get involved and understand what's happening? You don't want to miss this. If you've got any questions about activism, if you want to learn some ins and outs about dealing with local and federal regulations, you've got to tune in next Monday. Linda's amazing.
Yay. Well, I can't wait. Hearing her talk on the video that we had posted on Kadin Academy, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamie. And thank you, Trisha. That's so sweet. We're happy to be providing you guys information. And please give us any feedback, anything we can do better, anything that we missed you want information on. We look forward to seeing you again on Mentor Mondays. And tune in for our webinar. If you did not know about our webinar, we're going to be doing the 6 things that you must do in order to have a successful cannabis business on Wednesday. So where can we get that link, Jamie?
I'll post it within the group.
Okay,
I'll remind everybody within the group.
Great. All right, ladies, have a wonderful week. Thank you so much, Jamie. It was wonderful talking with you this morning.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.